Thank you so much, MTI. Another great event. Let me just go out there and share my screen. Give me a second, guys. Let me just get this up and running. All right, there we go. All right, so anyway, thank you, everybody, for coming on this Saturday. Even though it's summer's over, now it's time to start making some money. I mean, it's been a great volatile after summer holiday, I kind of call it. Now summer's over. I just came back yesterday. I did a huge event at the New York International Expo. I know I met some of you that were there, actually. They ran another great event. I don't know if some of you saw me. I was on the New York Stock Exchange. I rang the closing bell with Steve Forbes. Did you guys see that? I don't know if anybody saw me on. I actually will be tweeting, texting it. But it was a very interesting, great experience, basically unprecedented. And the reason for that, and why I was up there, and why I'm ringing the bell, because a lot of the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, they realize the importance of education. They get educators like us because they wanted to advertise. They want you guys to see us. Why is so important? They want you to trade their markets. Why you need to go out there and start taking matters in your own hands. And that's what I'm basically going to be talking about. I'm going to show you how and why that you are getting into one of the best jobs in the world. But there's one major problem. You have to learn before you could earn, and that's why MTI is throwing these great events. So let me change the slide here, ladies and gentlemen, and if I could just change my slides. There we go. All right, like MTI just mentioned, I just came out with my book. It's called How to Beat Market Makers at Their Own Game and Uncover the Mysteries of Day Trading. It just came out less than a month ago, and I'll tell you at the end of this presentation, I'm going to run a big promotion about the book, and you're going to get my book, and you're going to get my my trading room. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it, but once again, only if you guys really want to do this. So hopefully I'm going to show you a little bit more about what trading is all about, and then if you guys want to move forward, that's what it's all about. Now, once again, I'd like to thank everybody. I know it's been a long day for some of you sticking around and listening to all the presenters, and there are some great presenters out there, and I always recommend everyone that you should sample everybody's. I mean, I know that you got a $49 package, a $20, whatever it may be, but I could just tell you, I learned the hard way, and the thing about learning the hard way is not going out there and making an investment in your business. Now, you have to understand something. This is a business, okay? Nobody's paying you to go to work. This is not a, obviously you're going to use it as a job, but you need to understand you're running a business and there's cost. And part of running a business, nobody here is going to open up a business unless you know what you're doing. All right, and you've done your due diligence. I don't know if anybody here has opened their business, but I know for a fact nobody just decided one day, wake up and tell their spouse, hey, honey, I'm opening up a restaurant. And like, okay, great, so you're going to take our money and blow it on a restaurant? Yeah, I just feel like it. I heard they make good money. Or, whatever it may be. Well, the thing is this. That's why every one of you need a mentor, and that's why every one of you need to sample a little bit about what everyone's doing. Now, just a little bit about history about myself. There's Steve Forbes, like I just mentioned to you. I rang the closing bell with Steve Forbes on Friday, and I'll be happy to send you guys a photo of it. It was a great thing. I was actually talking about him, about this magazine, and he kind of remembers the magazine because this actually was one of my friends of mine that I used to trade with. A bunch of kids tormenting Wall Street, okay? I was one of those kids. And I'm not a kid anymore, but back then, it's been 20 years now. But the thing is this, being a successful trader, you have to learn how to play the game. And that's what the exchanges want you to do, the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ Exchange. They want you to go out there and take matters in your own hands. You don't need brokerage firms anymore. You don't need stockbrokers, mutual funds. You hear all this scrutiny about payment for order flow, high-frequency trading, dark pools. You know what? This doesn't really hurt Main Street. It really more or less hurts Wall Street. So instead of letting them go out there and doing it, let's do it ourselves. Now, also, for some of you who don't know, I'm a 12-time champion. I compete against every school. Every school I competed against, I beat every school that I went up against. And the reason for it is that I am a trader. I was a market maker, and the thing is, I always felt that if I'm going to ever get anyone's attention, to train you and mentor you, why not learn from a champion? Because that's what my dad taught me. He says, you know what? Learn from somebody who's one of the best in the business. So I felt, listen, I had a passion. I learned how to trade right. And I says, you know what? People kept asking me, could you teach me, Fausto? And I says, you know what? The only way I can get people to believe in me that I could teach them is beat everyone I compete against. And I did. I've been to Paris. I've been to China. I've been all over the world. So the thing is this. How did I do it? And how can I make you be successful at doing it? Well, first of all, just to kind of let all of you know, there was a big article written up that it was ranked number 10, and equity traders is one of the highest working life balances in the world. So I thought I got a kick out of that when I saw that. So I like to show people that this is a great, great industry you're getting into. It's a great job, and obviously maybe some of you should need to see it that, hey, that's what we're all looking to do. Some of us think doctors and lawyers are the best high-paying jobs, but don't realize the stress that comes along with it. Now, what is the difference between investing and day trading? Well, there's a major, major difference. You know, one is just short-term. You're in and out the same day. You can go to sleep at night. One of them, you got to hold overnights. You have to analyze stocks. You're looking more average yearly returns at 10 and 20%, where us day traders, we look at stocks at 20 to 30% a day. I'm going to talk about some stocks I traded last week. I mean, I don't think there was a day last week I haven't had at least one or two stocks that went up over 100 to 300% in one day. I know that might sound crazy, but it's true, and I don't make this stuff up. I'll show it to you and I'll prove it to you. And also, I'll tell you a little bit about going to my YouTube channel. You can actually watch those videos on those. Now, here's one of the stocks right here. Did anybody hear about this stock? SCOK. Anybody heard about this one? SCOK? Stock went from, you could see here on the bottom, it went from 9:30 in the morning, went from $3.25 to $8.80. Okay, one of you did? That's it, just one person? Oh, come on, they got to be more than that. Carl's the only one that heard about it? John, the only one? Okay, well, listen, the thing is this. I trade, there are 25,000 stocks that out there, okay? I just can't understand why everybody trades always the Apples, the Yahoos, the Teslas, the Googles. You know, there are other stocks out there you can risk less money with more reward. Now, how do we find stocks like this? Well, before I even tell you that, let me just tell you, what am I doing here? Oh, there we go. Got the wrong page. Okay, here's another stock, RADA. Here's a stock that you can see. I've been tweeting it. I'm texting it. I run a professional trading room. Here's a stock that went from $1.50 to $6. Okay. Now, just in and out for the day. In the last hour, you could see the stock went from, you know, $4.75 to $6.25. Now, I don't know if you guys ever really did the math, but if you just forget about making, you know, the $2, the $5, if you just made 50 cents, 50 cents on that trade, 50 lousy little stinking cents on 1,000 shares, you're talking a $4,000 investment, you made $500. 500 times 5 days a week times 52 weeks, you're talking over $100,000 a year salary. Now, who here doesn't want a $100,000 a year salary? How many of you on Social Security and it's just not cutting it? You know, you need to make more money. Or how many of you here are, you know, are too overqualified, or you're retired and you have some time on your hands, you want to trade the market? A lot of you are, and a lot of you just need to realize you got to go back to school if you want to do this, because you're already smart by being here. Now you got to be smart how to invest your money with the right education. So the thing is this, a lot of you probably reading books and, you know, listening to this person and watching TV, and, you know, and next thing you know, you're sitting there like this baby over here trying to figure out, do I really know what's going on or not? Okay, well, this is it. This is where we're going to start changing your life. First thing I want to let you guys know, David says, are options available for these shares? Yes, they are. A lot of them are. And you know what, David, are you a options trader? Okay. I assume you're an options trader. Anyone here trade options? Who here trades options? call you do? Okay. David says not yet. All right. Okay, we got a lot of options traders. Okay, let me explain something to you. Yesterday, I was presenting at one of the largest options convention in the country yesterday. All right, they had 10 speakers. I had Thinkorswim was there. You know, we had TD was there. You know, we had a lot of some of the big speakers were there. Tom Sosnoff, JJ, John Callahan, John Person. They were all there. And the thing, you have to understand something, because I was on the podium and I was telling everyone, anyone here trade options, I says, well, guess what? If you want to be a good options trader, you first have to learn how to trade the stock, because it's the movement of the stock that makes the option move. So you have to understand, everyone, if you want to, I know regarding the options traders out there, options is not easy, and it's actually very confusing for some of us, and because there's so many ways. Once you thought you learn how to trade options, someone else is going to tell you something else. Oh, what about doing a butterfly? What about the Greeks? Or what about doing leaps? And what about this? And what about that? I mean, there's so many ways of trading options. Honestly, I got confused to listen to some of them. I didn't even know some of these things even exist. But at the end of the day, you got to learn how to trade stocks first. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, to trade and learn how to trade stocks and do it right, you have to understand that you have a seat on the exchange. You can actually go out there. You can trade on the floor of the market. You have a seat just like everyone else. Now, if some of you are sick and tired of dealing with online brokers and hearing all this scrutiny, what's going down in Congress and about payment for order flow and high-frequency trades, you know what? Do yourself a favor. Just take matters in your own hands, and that's why we're here. So how do we do that? We have to learn. How do we start learning? Let me tell you the number one thing that every one of you need to understand to be successful in trading. Now, could everybody here tell me what makes stocks go up and down in the market? Can everyone tell me? Like, what drives stocks up and down? Everybody should be able to answer this. Listen, don't be shy. No one's going to pick on you. Institutions from Gary. Lulu says bids and asks, supply and demand. Walter. Okay. Now, is that a strategy, guys? Is that a strategy, supply and demand? Because everyone keeps saying, like, oh, what's your strategy? What's your strategy? Is that no, it's not. I mean, it's basic. Everything gets driven by supply and demand. Futures, Forex, options, supply and demand. Okay, now, let me tell you why 80 to 90% of the people fail and will continue to fail in trading from something you've just all admitted. Supply and demand. Now, think about this for a second. Now, it's a very important question I'm going to ask all of you. Anyone here trade stocks or options or futures? Okay. Good. All right. When you're in a trade, now listen carefully. When you're in a trade, do you see the supply and demand? Do you see the buyers and sellers? Yes or no? Okay, we got Mark says yes, Gary says no, Sharon says no, Everett says no, Raphael says no. Getting a lot of no's. Nikki, it's not depending on the tools that you have, like what tools you're talking about. I mean, at the end of the day, the question is, do you see the buyers and sellers, the supply and demand in the market? No, level 2 does not show it to you. Level 2 is obsolete. They're getting rid of it. It doesn't even work anymore. Okay, so think about it. How successful do you think you're going to be by not seeing the supply and demand? How better, smarter trades are you going to make without seeing buyers and sellers? So Everett says not so, not so much. Okay, so the thing is this, you're right. Okay, so this is why I love teaching. This is why I love talking to you, everybody here, because I want you guys all to realize that if you want to be successful in trading, you need to see the supply and demand, which all of you guys agree. Like, think about it. It's if you had an opportunity to give your money to somebody that could follow supply and demand and see 70% of the volume of the stock, who would you rather give it to? The guy that could see that or the person that can't? Because you're already 70% ahead of the game. Well, these things are called iceberg orders. And in iceberg orders, this is like the one of the beginner things that I teach. Now, I'm an expert in high-frequency trading. I've been teaching it for years, actually over 20 years. It used to be called Instanet. And what I basically teach you is very, very basic. Okay, now listen, this is not a strategy. This is not a Mr. Fibonacci. This is not a Mr. Bollinger Band. This is not a Mr. 200 MAC moving average. This is supply and demand. Now, what you see right here are buyers and sell orders. And in those buy orders, you could see how many shares are looking to be bought, and you could see at what price. On the sell side, you could see who's looking to sell it, you know, at what, how many shares, and at what price. Now, remember, there's a lot of buyers, a lot of sellers out there. So guess what? Look how great this data is. You could see everybody. You could see all the buyers, all the sellers. You could even see yourself. If you're buying 100 shares, you'll be there too, if you have direct access, obviously. Okay? So the thing is this. The beauty about this is that you see all these orders, but the first thing you notice is the 71,000 share seller out there. Those are what we call iceberg orders. So by seeing iceberg orders, that will give you an indication of what we call the major supply and demand. Nikki says, can level 3 be manipulated? Nikki, would you want to be in the business that's being manipulated? Would you? Anybody here want to be in something that's being manipulated? Yes or no? Okay. So exactly. So if you're concerned about being in something manipulated, then you should get out of this business pretty quickly, because I could tell you this, Nikki, you're going to probably lose all your money. And I'm being dead honest. Listen, I live in New York. We shoot straight to the hip. And I'm just telling you flat out, if that's what you're worried about, then just do not move forward in trading, because you'll end up not losing the money that you have in the market. You're going to lose more than that, because you're probably going to lose that and over. And I'm only being sincere because I've been doing this for 20 years, and I see people like you all the time that ask that question. And if that's what your concern is, then you need to don't do it. Nothing is being manipulated. First of all, it's illegal. All right, that's number one. Number two, next thing people say, well, are those real orders? Well, I don't think you can put a fake order out there, can you? Is that possible? Because that's another thing people ask me. Oh, is that a real order? I don't know. Could you log into your Schwab account and put a 70,000 share order out there and make it look fake? Can you do that? Oh, well, Nikki, and you know what? Next question. I don't know that. That's why I'm asking. That's okay, Nick. And you know what? I'm glad you asked that question, because everyone else has the same question. But I just want to make my point to you, and everyone understands that, because I hear it all the time. And people challenge me on that too. And the thing is, that's why at the end of this presentation, Nikki, I will show you live in the market for 2 weeks. And you'll read it in my book that you'll see it how important this data is to you. Now, now moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, the thing that I kind of teach everyone is following the big block orders. Now, does anyone here know how to read charts? Anybody here know how to read a chart? Good, good, good. Question here. Yes, you can, and a specific price, and before it reaches, you can take it out. And yeah, and that's right. And also to let you guys know, anybody could change their mind. You know, there's somebody could put an order for 50,000 shares and says, you know what, I changed my mind. I think I'm going to hold on to it because it's going to go higher. So, because some people say, can you cancel? Hey, can't you cancel an order? If you put an order through your TD Ameritrade account and all of a sudden the stock's going up and you're like, you know what, I changed my mind. I don't want to sell it. I want to keep it now. Do you think they can go out there and say, oh, no, too late, no. There's no cancel button. Once you put it out there, tough luck. No, they all do that. So keep in mind, yes, I do agree. They do cancel, no different than what you can. All right. Now, regarding about the supply and demand and support and resistance, you could see how there's demand resistance up over here. Let me get my crayons out here. Maybe this might help you a little bit more. Okay. So you got resistance levels here, support levels here. Now the stock comes back, it hits resistance levels here. Now in theory, the stock, when you hit resistance, everyone, what is the stock supposed to do? When a stock hits resistance, right? It's supposed to sell, right? That's where the sellers are. Well, do we see sellers on a chart? Do we see sellers on a chart? No, we don't see sellers in the chart. We just kind of get an idea what happened in the past. But it's not indicative of the future, right? So for us to have resistance levels, we need sellers. So let's go look where the orders are. All right, so on the sell side, we got a 2,000 share seller versus a 75,000 share buyer. So what do you think, what do we have, more of a supply or more of a demand? And if we have a demand, that's right, everyone. And if we have a demand, what's going to happen to the price of the stock? Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? It's a common sense question. Believe me, it's no trick questions. I don't play games. It's going to go up. Now, let me ask you something. Do you need an indicator to tell you that? Did you need do you need a 200 moving average to tell you that? No. You see the order out there, 75,000. Why would a guy go out there and bid for the stock, be the highest price out there if he didn't want it? So the thing is this, ladies and gentlemen, to be very successful in trading, you need to have a game plan. And having a game plan, you need to see where the big block orders are. Like, look at this. The chart's got major support levels right around 910, and you got major resistance levels at 975. And then when you look at the orders, look at that. What do you think is more predominant? A 100-share buyer or a 100,000 share buyer? What do you think is more resistance levels? A 3,000 share seller or a 73,000 share seller? So this is where you look at. Now, I'm not going to knock indicators because they do work for swing trading. They do work for investing because, you know, time happens. But when it comes to day trading, it does not work for it at all. Does not work for day trading because they're too lagging. You know, that's the only reason why. So let me ask everybody another question. Anybody confused? Everyone following along, understand the supply and demand so far? And the big block orders? Everybody got that? David says very good. Okay, good. Everyone? There's over, what, almost 300 people here, so. Now, think about it. It's almost like a light bulb kicking in, right? It's like, is trading really that simple? Yes, it is, but it's not easy, okay? But it is simple. You guys make it more complicated than what it really is. The thing, and let me tell you, this is what I was trained on the first day on the job after losing almost blew up like 3 accounts of mine for one simple reason, ignorance. Let me tell you guys, you think education's expensive? Try ignorance, okay? It's a very, very, very expensive lesson. Why? Because I was one of those ignorant people that wanted to be self-taught. But until I had a mentor, you know, take me under his wing and tell me exactly what it is, now it made perfect sense. So this is like trading 101, guys. This is like real beginner stuff, all right? But you could see how important it is as a value. Just simple supply and demand. David said it's a real it's really an eye-opener for you. David, you haven't seen nothing yet. This is only I didn't even scratch the surface. This is the beginning. Imagine me showing you stocks that go up 200% in a day, and now you're sitting there scratching your head. How did you know Fausto was going to go up? And it's not that I knew it's going to go up. This is what I teach you. Okay, so because that's the first thing people always ask. Fausto, where do I find stocks? Fausto, where do I get this information, this data? And you know what? I always tell everybody, you first need to learn how to trade first and know the basics, and then we'll worry about that. Will pay for itself. Theo, no, that's not necessarily true for everybody. Absolutely not. Okay. There's prop firms, there's people from different countries. They don't always fall in the $25,000 day trading world. All right, so knowing the buyers, knowing where the sellers are, because they make what's called supply and demand. Now, anyone here use indicators? Anybody use indicators? Everybody understand? We got over here. We got volumes, stochastics, the CCI, pivot points. Everybody got this? Everybody understand? Could tell me what's going on over here? Is the stock going up or going down with these indicators? William, could you figure this one out for me then? He said work for swing trading. Too many, no idea. Right, and this is what ends up happening, because let me tell you what happens with indicators. There are so many indicators, and what happens, everyone's going to tell you why their indicator is better than the next guy. And the other person's going to tell you why you should use my style, why my 200 moving average is better than his 50 moving average, and the other guy's going to tell you why his MACD is better than his Fibonacci, and the other one's going to tell you how to read a Fibonacci, and they're going to tell you how to read 3 different ways, with 3 different colors. And at the end of the day, you're going to be like this, scratching your head, and next thing you know, the day's over and you made no money. So we have something that's called a KISS method. Keep it super simple. All right, and that is basically just having a game plan, knowing when to get in and when to get out. One thing you'll learn from a lot of the speakers today is that one of the things you probably, and it sounds pretty consistent, and it happened yesterday when I was talking to some of the best people in the business, traders never look how much money they make. We always look how much money we lose. I was a great demo trader. I made so much money in demo trades. But you know what? When I put my live money and I was down $20, let me tell you, I'm the most miserable bastard you ever met. Okay, I do not like to lose. All right, but I was a great demo trader, and the problem is a lot of you guys, you're out there demo trading and practicing, but you got to know how to start getting into the game, and the only way you're going to know is playing with real money. But then you also got to know what it's like to learn from those mistakes. Now, how many of you here are journaling your orders? How many of you here are monitoring your trades at a daily basis? Not many. Look at that. Only like 1 or 2. So the thing is this: you have to manage your trades, and you got to manage your time, because timing is key when it comes to trading. Now, I don't know what the other exhibitors, the other speakers, and I think this is an excellent question. People always ask me this question. They say, Fausto, if you're such a great trader, why do you teach? Okay. Well, first of all, I started when I was 22 years old, and I was semi-retired at the age of 24. I was retired after 2 years. And being 24, it wasn't really too healthy for a 24-year-old, being retired. So what ended up happening, people kept asking me to teach them how to trade. So that's how Cyber Trading University was born, because I said, you know what? Everybody was so negative about trading, and you probably hear that. Everybody's bashing. Congress is always like on top of people, thinking everybody's trying to steal money from everybody. And you know what? Listen, I can't speak for everybody. Listen, there's people like that, Ponzi schemes everywhere. And at the end of the day, you know what? I just say, you know what? Just take matters in your own hands. Don't worry about giving to somebody else. But let's do it right, okay? And doing it right, trading is a part-time job. Part-time job, what I mean by that is that us day traders, we only trade about maybe 30 minutes a day, maybe an hour. 90% of your time is spent on education. 10% is only, in the markets. And what I usually do, I'm going to invite all of you guys to come. I don't know if you guys are interested or can make it, but can anybody come and join us for pre-market trading? I don't know if you guys ever saw that. Ever see pre-market trading? Going out there and seeing how all these orders are getting filled in the mornings before the market opens up? Anybody seen it? Okay, I'll let you know at the end of the presentation if you guys want to join me on Monday, so you can see all this stuff come to fruition. And not only that, but the great part of it is you're going to see the students that I've trained that are making not hundreds, not thousands. I have traders that are making tens of thousands of dollars. I actually have traders that are making over hundreds of thousands of dollars a day trading in the trading room. I know that sounds absurd and ridiculous and sounds like a lie, but trust me, when you come and log in on Monday, you're going to meet them, and they love to brag and tell how good they're doing. So this is, and think about it. Some of you are probably calculating in your head, they're like, that's impossible. Okay, yeah, well, you know what? You'll see on Monday. Why? Because trading is getting more easier, more fun, and not only that, you're in the busiest time of the season, which is great. So, and the reason why traders are doing so well is we only trade and make those big spikes in the morning. Starting capital requirements, okay, from Lori. Lori, let's look at this stock for a second. This stock right here was $1.90, okay, at 9:30, and it ran to 260. Stocks literally almost went up, I don't know, 50%, right, 30%, whatever it is. So think about this for a second. To buy 1,000 shares of $1.90 stock, how much money did you need? Lori, how much money did you need? You need $100,000? You need $50,000? No, you needed $1,900. Okay, good. Could you afford that? So don't worry about it. I preferably like to trade less expensive stocks because they're not only because they're easy to trade, but you're dealing with less experienced traders that are trading them. You know, remember, when you deal with more expensive stocks, you need more money, and you're dealing with the best traders on Wall Street. And I don't know about you, but do you really think you're going to beat the best traders on Wall Street? I had a guy yesterday told me, he says, Fausto, how do you know I'm dealing with the best traders on Wall Street in an expensive stock? And I says, that's a great question. If you owned a brokerage firm and you had a $3 stock or a $50 stock, who are you going to put your best trader on? The $3 stock or the $50 stock? He says, well, obviously the $50 stock. Yeah, exactly. You just answer your own question. So, but at the end of the day, what are you here for? We're here just to make money. Do you really care what you trade? You're not going to own it. You're not investing. This is a job. You're getting paid to make money, and you're not looking to say, oh, honey, I'm so excited. I finally got to trade Apple today. You know, I got my brokerage account up. I would never trade Apple. Zero. Never, ever, ever trade Apple in my life. Actually, I did trade it not too long ago due to some news. But why would I? Why would I go risk $100,000 when I could buy a stock like this? It moves more, and it's almost 100 times less, right? It's a business decision. That's all it is. It's only business, nothing personal. So finding stocks, ladies and gentlemen, not that difficult also. In our trading room, we'll show you how we scan the market. We'll show you how we find them. I mean, a lot of you probably have scanners on your end, but you know what? At the end of the day, just because you find a stock doesn't mean you could trade it. Stocks might have big spreads, might not have enough volume, no high-frequency trades in it, no iceberg orders. These are things that you got to be really, really careful of them. Now, also at Cyber Trading University, what we do is we give text alerts, we do Twitter alerts. You could log in from your cell phone, and you could log into the trading room live. So, you know, we break up the room in two different ways. If you guys want to know a little bit more about our program, you know, what we do at Cyber Trading University is a lot different than other schools. First of all, I could tell you this, you are not going to learn this in 1 week, okay? So if anyone's looking to kind of, you know, think you're going to take a course and pay all this money and learn in a week, you know what? You're just burning your money. You're wasting your time. Here at Cyber Trading University, what we do is we run a semester. We call our semesters 1 year long. Okay, we train you for a whole year, all day, every day for a whole year. Okay, that's how we work things. We don't believe in, on-site 5-day courses and, and spending between travel and I mean, it's expensive after a while. We do have those. I mean, I recommend them later on, but as a beginner, you guys ain't going to learn right away. You're not going to learn by coming down and says, oh, I want to see you trade live. It's not going to happen. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I had a guy that came visit me. He says, Fausto, I want to learn from you. He goes, you are the best trader I've ever seen. I've watched you, I've been following you. I want to come down to your office, and I want to watch you for a whole day, for a whole week. And I told him, I says, number one, we can't do that. He goes, but I want to come and see you. I don't want to do things online. I want to sit with you for a whole week. And I said, listen, first of all, it's impossible. Okay, because number one, I'm going to be I'm going to be stealing money from you because you're not going to learn it in 5 days. First of all, I don't have the time to teach you. Okay, and secondly, you're wasting your time. It's going to take you months before you even learn what's going on. And every day that you trade, you learn something new every single time. So finding the stock, I got to teach you how to find them. You need to learn how to read iceberg orders. You need to learn how to read a chart. 80% of the people I find read charts backwards. When I'm done with you, you'll realize that you spent 90% of your time trying to analyze something where it's just right in the middle of your face in a way of keeping it simple. And not only that, but surround you with great traders. My father always taught me also, he said, my father was an immigrant, came here with nothing in his pockets, over, 50 years ago, and he always taught me one thing, very valuable lesson. He says, son, everybody needs an education. Okay, you got to go to school. Okay, and he he did everything he can to get it. Worked his butt off, 12 to 14 hours a day, because he knew here in the United States we got some of the best education in the world. Okay, and everyone probably knows that. You see foreigners come all over the world. Why are they coming to us? Why aren't we going to them? All right, where's their Harvard and Yale's and Miami universities? They all come to us because we do have great education. But the problem is, my father also told me, he says, listen, once you're done with your education and you like something what you do, that doesn't mean that now you're ready to take a career in what you're looking to do, because that's only 10% of the battle. The 90% of the battle is setting yourself up and finding the people that are going to teach you how to do it right. And that's where he came. He says, listen, you want to be a great trader, Fausto? This is what you need to do. I want you to go find the best traders on Wall Street and do whatever you can to get in his damn door, and you become a heckler. You do everything you can. You do anything you can, but get that guy to train you, whatever the cost is. If it requires you to get his coffee for him, if it requires you to, to sit outside and only get 30 minutes, when you do whatever you can. But the only way you're going to become the best is to learn from the best. He always said, if you want to be rich, you hang out with rich people, okay? You want to be poor, you know what? That's not too hard. You hang out with poor people. Nothing wrong with that, but if that's what you want to do and you want to succeed, that's how you succeed in life. And that's what I did. And that's why I believe I'm one of the best in the industry, because I was trained by some of the best traders in the world. And you could see it, and it's so simple. They told me, this is Fausto, that's how simple it is. These are things that you need to do. Can we earn while we learn, David said. You know what, David? One of my #1 mandatory things I tell everybody is, let me ask this, David, okay? I'll put this in your court, David. Would you give the key, can we go out there and buy, I don't know if you have kids or whatever, but we go out there and buy a child a car first and give him the keys to drive it around, and then we'll teach him how to drive later? See if he likes it first? Does that sound smart? No. Okay. Same thing. So the thing is this. If you're going to start trading, you're going to start losing. You got to learn first, and then we start trading after. You don't put the carriage before the horse. All right? So the thing is, let's go through the training process. Let's make sure we know what we're doing. Let's get practice demo trading, get the execution system set up the way it's supposed to be set up, and then we'll go from there. Now, regarding about the trading room, ladies and gentlemen, I run a professional trading room. All of you are going to be are eligible to come. I'm going to give you guys a promotion for 2 weeks. 2 weeks you're going to be able to join me. Now, so I just saw some of you can't make it for Monday. That's fine. That's okay. Don't worry about it. So you're going to have 2 weeks to see what's going to be happening, and you're going to see some of my students that I've trained become they're very, very successful. Actually, some of my students even become instructors or start their own schools because they're doing so great, and it's flattering and it's great. You know, hey, maybe you could have an interest of doing it also. But you'll get to meet these people in my trading room that I've mentored and I've trained. Now, also, you can go to what I recommend you to do over the weekend before you log in on Monday. We have a YouTube channel called the Cyber Group. Okay, I want all of you guys to look up Cyber Group on YouTube. Look at some of the latest videos, and they're 10-minute videos of me doing pre-market trading and an hour trading right before the open. I run like a professional trading room, so I get all the students, traders, knowing what to trade going into the open and close. I think you guys are going to like that. Those videos. Now, finding them are very, very simple. We trade stocks all the time. But my ultimate goal is teaching you how to make a day's pay. All right? If I could teach how to make 50 cents, 50 cents, that's it. That's over $120,000 a year. Believe me, I know this sounds crazy, but it's really not that hard. Some of you would be happy to make $50,000 a year. Hey, you come from a $100,000 a year salary, a 50% raise ain't that bad. That's 20 cents a day. That's it. That's all you're looking to make. But you got to have a reality check, because whatever money you make, you can lose it as quickly. And one of the biggest things I like to teach, I never count how much money I make. I always count how much I lose before I go into trade. And you know what? I've been listening to some of the speakers today, and they all said the same thing. Traders, we treat it like a business. Before we go into a trade, we got to find out what is our probability of risk, not reward. Because remember, you did not make any money until you sell that stock. Always remember that. Once you buy it, you're already a loser. Now, what's great about this job, ladies and gentlemen, when you mastered it, you can learn how to take days off. You could spend more time with your friends. You could family, do those things you always wanted to do, because it is the best job in the world. It really is. Where else could you do this in your pajamas without dealing with a boss all day? It's the greatest job in the world. And that's why all of you are here. But to be successful at one of the greatest jobs that pays a lot of money, you need to learn how to do it right. So here at Cyber Trading University, we do education with some of the biggest brokerage firms in the world. Cyber Trading University does more education for more brokerage firms than any school in the industry. Why? Because they know what we teach works, and they get great feedback from the students that we've trained. Now, if you want to start learning today, right now, if you want to start learning today, this is what we're going to do. I want all of you to buy my book. Okay, my book is Steve Forbes actually wanted to read it. I'm going to actually send him a copy of it when I spoke to him yesterday. It's the first day trading book that hasn't been out in 20 years, next to the Souls Bandits. So that was the other book that was even comparable. Wiley Publishing bought the rights to the book. They went out. It's already a #1 bestseller. Why? Because it's going to teach you exactly how to trade, okay? It's going to give you a very, very good basic, and it's going to tell you a little bit of a history about the trading markets. High-frequency trading is going to tell you a little bit about me, how I got into it. Believe me, what you're going to learn, ladies and gentlemen, I'm no different than you. I'm a human just like you. I'm not president or, I just started just like you, other than 20 years ago. So what I'm offering all of you is this. Buy my book for $49, and you are going to get 2 weeks in my live trading room. So you get my book, and you can get 2 weeks in my trading room, and then by then you'll have a better understanding if trading is for you or not. So it's the cheapest investment that you guys are going to make. Now, when you buy the book, make sure you talk to one of our education advisors so they can kind of explain about your purchase and about the trading room. Now, how to register and purchase the book. Basically, let me just go right here and bring.
Fausto, looks like we have about 1 minute left.
All right, no problem.
All right,
almost done right here.
Fantastic.
Let me just bring you to ctu.co. It's our new web address, Cybertree University. All right, right here on number 3 on the list right there, just click on this link right here, and you can put your order in to get my book and my professional trading room, which you're going to get exclusively for today. You're going to get to 2 weeks. And I don't know if I could be able to put that in the chat, but yeah, maybe this is it right here. There we go. All right. So I got about a couple of minutes left. Let me just see if I can answer any last-minute questions. Where do you buy in from the Netherlands? Oh, just buy it online, and we're going to mail it to you. Okay? And then you'll get all the logon instructions when you log into your dashboard, how to get into the meeting on Monday. Just to let you know that if you're from out of the country, the shipping is just going to be a little bit more. That's all.